They did it. Honestly, I could kind of end it with that. They did it. So, Stanley Cup champions, defending Stanley Cup champions, the record for defending Stanley Cup champions, it is bizarre how often they get knocked out in the first round. 2010, that's the Hawks, knocked out in the first round in 2011 by Vancouver. 2011, Boston, first round, knocked out in 2012. 2015, Blackhawks win the Cup. They knocked out in the first round in 2016. 2018, Washington, knocked out in 2019 by the Canes. And now, 2019, we've seen the St. Louis Blues get knocked out in the first round. I have said for years, and I will continue to say it, there's parity in the NHL, and series like this proves it. Now, tonight's game was also made up of the right combination of players getting points and goals to make people rage that have wanted to see Jim Benning fired, that have complained about every contract on the team being too much money, that have complained for years that this team doesn't know what they're doing and they're not building towards anything. I've expressed my frustration at times, but my frustration towards Benning changed about 3 years ago, is when I said, you know what, I don't necessarily like the contracts, but I kind of see what he's trying to do here, and we'll see how it turns out. So I haven't been calling for anything to do with his job in a long time. And tonight's game, pretty good game for him. So the way that this starts, Bozak's out, McEachern was in, and Binnington starts for the Blues. And there will be certainly a lot of discussions about who was in net and whether or not that was the right call. The Canucks have a book on Binnington. That's okay. The Blues have a book on Markstrom too. They talked about that a lot during the game and how Markstrom had allowed 7 out of 14 goals and they were all over the glove, whereas Vancouver shoots on Binnington on the blocker side and they go in. And this is something, I talked about this last year with the run to the Stanley Cup Finals for Binnington and how a rookie goaltender can very often put up really good numbers because teams don't have a book on him yet. They haven't figured out that weakness, and every goaltender has one. And I know with Felix Potvin's one that I always bring up because it was high glove on Binnington or on Potvin, and you'd see him go on a nice run, and then all of a sudden all those goals would be going in on the same side, same spot, and it was tough because I liked Potvin, but once the team had that figured out, it was tough. So Markstrom had an excellent game today, despite the reality that the Blues kind of have a book on him, but he also did very well with the glove hand today. Perron had an early chance. Gaudette was then stopped. There was some line juggling by both teams early on, and you could see the line matching battles were on. This was okay. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure that we're keeping the other team off balance, and it worked pretty well for both. There were chances both ways. Parayko had a chance that was frozen as the teams were trading chances until, on a turnover, Jay Beagle scores at 3:25. Remember that Beagle contract everybody hates? Not tonight. Beagle had probably his best game as a Vancouver Canuck tonight. The Canucks pressed at 4 minutes. The shots were in their favor 5-3, and that would not be the case for most of the night. This is where Markstrom comes in. Mott was getting extra ice time, as was Virtanen in this game. I thought Virtanen had a very strong game. He doesn't get on the board, but he had a good game. And this is why I got mad at Virtanen a couple games ago, because it's like, what is this? This is... And of course, for people who've wanted to discredit Virtanen the whole way through, that game gave them all the ammo in the world. And I was, the same as anybody else, I was kind of expecting that, maybe Virtanen gets benched in the last game, that maybe he'd be a healthy scratch. I'm grateful that he was not. Post for McEachern, and it wasn't a great shot either. It just kind of went just under the glove for Markstrom, and I was like, okay, that's kind of a scary spot if that had gone in, but it didn't. The important thing is it didn't. Virtanen then had a chance on a turnover that was stopped. Binnington was pretty solid early on as the Canucks had a lead in shots 13-4 at 11 minutes. You will notice they had 13 shots for the entire first period. So this is where the frustration comes in. And this has been a really strange playoffs for that, where we've seen these momentum shifts. Rick Bowness got into this after the Dallas win today about how, it's really weird in the bubble. And these games, it's definitely something different. And these momentum swings can be huge. And it's a different game. So Canucks didn't get shots in that second half of that period. Mott takes a penalty. Blues go to the power play. And interestingly, of course, when Mott takes a penalty, he's one of the top penalty kill guys. So that hurts the Canucks penalty kill. However, Thomas denied by Markstrom. Blues are pushing after the power play. I can hear horns outside. There's clearly people driving up and down the road. Not near me, but near enough that I can hear horns. It's just round one. But tonight, I totally get it. If you're out celebrating, you're going, yeah, Shannon's not going to understand why we're celebrating. When you win the round, yes. When it's only a 2-game series so far, settle. But after you win the series, yeah, go out there, dance around, celebrate. I had a little dance on my own with I'm Still Standing by Elton John. It's not as cool as shipping up to Boston when the Bruins win a series, but the Canucks, I don't have a series-winning song for the Canucks because they don't win series. Just sad but true. Thomas was denied by Markstrom. The Blues had a push after the power play, and it felt like there was a huge momentum shift. And Pettersson blocking shots. This stood out. We talked a lot about the Sedin era and how there was a perception that the Sedins didn't play the defensive game, and they definitely didn't play the physical side of it, and they definitely didn't do shot blocking. That wasn't their thing. When Tortorella came through, tried to make that Canucks team in 2014 a shot blocking team, they basically collectively said, no. This is a team that's blocking shots. And there were a lot of them. They blocked 28 shots tonight. 28 shots blocked. And that's on top of all the shots that did get through. So this was definitely a team effort by Vancouver. So the Blues were pressing with 3 minutes left. The Canucks hadn't had a shot in 7 minutes at that point. Beagle takes a late penalty. Keep in mind, Jay Beagle plays on the penalty kill as well, so that was concerning. Power play number 2 for... I got so nervous I wrote Flyers. So I'm going to erase that and put Blues. We're going to just go ahead and change that to Blues because clearly it's not the Flyers. Canucks Flyers final. Anyways, so the control was definitely on the Blues side of things, and the Canucks really needed to kill that penalty, and they did. So we start the second period with no shots in the last 10 minutes and 24 seconds for Vancouver. And what's interesting is the first shot they'd had in 12 and a half minutes, it goes in. It's Roussel from Sutter at 2:09. And I put wow and then what on the board because then the feed broke. It was like Roussel getting a goal with his contract from Sutter on his contract after Beagle got a goal caused the Let's Fire Jim Benning crowd to completely break down. And they broke the feed is my theory on this one. Because, again, tonight is a bad night for people who are like, I can't wait till Benning's gone. Yeah, you're going to have to wait a while. So Roussel gets the goal. It was a nice one. Turnovers in the Canucks zone were becoming a problem, but Markstrom was covering it. Virtanen then tried a wraparound, which was nice. And then Stetcher gets a goal from Sutter and Pettersson at 6:49. I was surprised that didn't break the feed because that was the second assist for Sutter. You know, the guy who doesn't do anything. I was told he doesn't do anything. He does. A couple of helpers. Pretty good player, two ways. And Besser getting the goal, his first of the series. No better time to get it. It would prove to be the game winner. Just going to throw that out there. Nice shot by Besser. He still has the shot. Seriously, anybody who's like, hey, we need to get rid of Besser. I already did the video on it, a month ago? No. Just no to all of that. Just no. So Binnington's out. Allen's in. Nope, that's the fourth goal. The game winner is your Stetcher goal. Sorry about that. 3 goals on 5 shots in the second period for Vancouver. Every time they put a shot at Binnington, they knew exactly where to shoot it. Every time Seattle or St. Louis put a shot at, I'm kind of a little bit flustered. Every time St. Louis put a shot at Markstrom, it was saved. And his glove hand was much better tonight than in games where they were able to get goals on him. So Dunn gets a post as the Blues were pushing back. Thomas had a chance on a turnover. The Blues were pressing at the 11-minute mark. It's 4-0. I should be relaxed. I'm not. There was no relaxation in how I viewed this game pretty much right up until near the end. Very, very near the end is where I finally said, okay, now I can breathe. Because again, it's the Blues, and I'm always like, this could happen. This could happen. We saw what happened with Calgary and Dallas last night, and I thought, you know what, this could happen again. So I'm not going to put I'm not going to start writing on the board. Oh, I didn't even write on the board that the Canucks won the series. Look at that. That's how off I am right now. Because You know, the weird thing, too, is that I'm going to publish my bracket tomorrow. I'm going to go over my bracket with all you fine people tomorrow now that the first round's over, and I don't have to hear people say, hey, you know what you're talking about. I picked the Canucks to knock out the Blues. I thought, you know what? I think it's a good matchup for Vancouver, and that scared me, so I didn't want to necessarily bother. But again, I'll talk about my bracket more. I got it wrong. I did have Carolina beating Boston, so not taking victory lap. I had Calgary knocking out Dallas, too. So Vancouver was the only one of my three teams I thought was going to win the first round, which felt weird. But anyways, Thomas had a chance on a turnover. Then Sanford had a chance that missed high. The Blues are still trying to hit high glove. And either they're missing over the net, or Markstrom's able to save it, or the shot is blocked. Markstrom denied Schwartz. There was a 2-on-1 for the Blues, and Edler blocked the shot. Edler tonight was very good. Just going to say, very good tonight. Solid effort from Edler. Allen denied Pettersson after some hard work by Tanner Pearson, who had a very good game as well. Gaudette had a chance that was defended very well, kept away from the net. The Blues pushed with 3 minutes left. Lots of shot blocking, though. So again, 3 minutes left, the Blues press. 3 minutes left, the Blues press. The Canucks were gassed. And that shift had like 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the ice. And 2 minutes and 5 seconds of it was spent defending in their own zone. And they keep the Blues out. And this is the kind of warrior shift that it is not like the 2011 Canucks. The 2011 Canucks were a very supremely talented team who were fantastic to watch and fun. But this kind of grinding style and the ability to not necessarily play physical, you will notice they didn't get a lot of hits, but just the shot blocking and just the defense. The commitment from this team is excellent. So again, for people who've been like, we need to get rid of Travis Green, tonight is an example of why that's not going to happen, not for a long time. So Markstrom stopped a Parayko chance, and we go into the third period with a 4-0 Vancouver lead. Is this guy breathing easily? No. Cuthbert, I thought he was trying to jinx the Canucks. He kept talking about, well, you know, in the next round. No, this is the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is the third period. Let's just cart horse. Let's be careful. We're not putting one before the other that shouldn't be where you're putting it. McEachern gets a penalty. The Canucks get their second power play. O'Reilly tried to angle one in 4 minutes into the third after St. Louis had killed that power play off. Blues controlling the play. No Canucks shot 6 minutes into the period. So again, much like this dry spell here, they have another dry spell here, and then Schwartz puts it in from Dunn and O'Reilly at 6:32. It's 4-1. And again, for the Canucks, they had no shots to that point in the period. So there's a delayed penalty during that play where the Blues would end up getting the goal. And I thought the Blues gave the Canucks a wake-up call. You'll notice that that's not the end of the notes, because I was furiously writing notes tonight because nerves and all that. So with nerves being as nerves are, here you go. And there's a countdown with this as well. So with that, 11:47, we're counting down until the end of the game. I'm counting down until the end of the game on each note. 11:47 left. Eriksson's shot went out of play at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Left, 0 shots for the Canucks until Virtanen got one. So Virtanen, again, good, hard-working shift for Jake Virtanen. 10:40 left. Pearson had a chance that was denied. With 9:20 left, Markstrom stopped another chance from Thomas. Robert Thomas had a really good game, just couldn't buy one past Markstrom. Falk then had a shot that deflected over the glass with 8:41 left. And with 8:20 left, they pulled the goalie. You know, and I'm fine with that decision. I'm perfectly fine with that decision, because you need 3 goals at that point, and you're basically desperate for those 3 goals. You might as well pull the goalie as soon as possible. Just the numbers tell you that's the right place to pull him. 7:33 left. The face-off was outside of the Canucks zone, which forced Allen to go back into the net. And then Beagle to Mott at 13:19 of the third period makes it 5-1. And again, I put right up here, fire betting boys can cry, because there's team betting and fire betting, and right now the fire betting boys are torn because they're likely very happy the Canucks are doing well, but this means their dream is being dashed as we speak. 6:20 left. Schwartz chance missed. 4:30 left. Allen gets pulled because, of course, you're going to pull the goalie again. Try again. 4:13 left. Markstrom denies who? Robert Thomas. See, when I put these notes on the board, I'm not even thinking about whose name I'm putting up there. I just, okay, this is what just happened. This is what just happened. Thomas's name is on the board a lot. 3:42 left. Louis Eriksson missed the empty net because he tries. He does. He's a nice guy. And the Canucks record with Eriksson in the lineup is really good. So the fact that he can't hit an empty net, fine. It's not a big deal. His contract, you know what? Tonight, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Canucks iced it with 2:34 left, and I was very impressed with how they were keeping the Blues to the outside. We've been talking about this in a lot of series, about how, yes, there's shots, but most of them are from the outside, and they're not necessarily that dangerous. And it felt like that's what was going on here. So the Canucks cleared it with 1:48 left, but then with 1:22 left, Jaden Schwartz gets a goal from Perron and Pietrangelo to make it 5-2. And I'll admit, back of my mind, I'm going, I can't though, right? Because again, you know, it's the Blues, and you want to hope, and you're like, okay, I can see the light. There's a minute and 22 seconds left. I can see the light here. Minute left, the Canucks clear it, and then Mott ends up hitting the empty net with 50 seconds left in the game. 19 minutes and 10 seconds left. Tyler Mott has 4 goals in the last 2 games for Vancouver. Mott's pretty good. Pretty good player. He's a body, you know. I remember freaking out when Vanek was traded for Mott and Jokinen. Not anymore. That was a pretty good deal. Because again, Benning, when it comes to making trades, usually the trades work out pretty well. JT Miller has been fantastic this series. And that draft pick that they traded out at the start of this year, that could be a really late draft pick in the first round. And the further back in that first round it gets, the better Benning, JT Miller, and the Canucks look in that trade. So the shots, 13-12 Vancouver in the first, and that would be the end of Vancouver leading in the shots. And remember, they were up 13-4 in that first period. Second period, 11-8 St. Louis, and then the third, 13-4. Keep in mind, they blocked 28, 36 got through and got Markstrom. 25 shots for Vancouver. The hits were 32-24 for St. Louis. Power play, Vancouver, 1 for 2. St. Louis, 0 for 2. And your difference. The difference in this game. I've been able to defend the goaltending of the Blues until tonight. I can't. The Canucks had a book on him. Binnington, 14 saves on 18 shots. In his defense, he didn't look nervous on the bench after being pulled. Allen, 5 saves on 6 shots after going in to replace Binnington because the Canucks just didn't generate very many chances. And Markstrom saved 34 out of 36. And again, those 28 block shots really stand out because to me, that's the difference between this Canucks team and the last time they got out of the first round, which was 9 years ago. There's a reason I went to 6 Canuck games this year. There's a reason that the farthest I was willing to commit was I'm cautiously optimistic about the Canucks. And I still am. And yes, in round 2, Vegas might sweep them and it might be just an absolute disaster. But the experience this team picked up by knocking out St. Louis, by this series that they've won in 6, the experience that these young kids have picked up is so important and should ensure that next year this team should be in the playoffs and that there should be a lot of respect for what Pettersson's done here in that now he's tied for the league lead in playoff scoring. So after round 1, the play-in round I should say, when they beat Minnesota, there was a lot of, well, Vancouver hasn't beat anybody. I saw that a lot in the comments, like, well, Vancouver just beat Minnesota. Big deal. Is it a big deal yet? Asking for a friend. All right, Vancouver. Vegas is up. That should be a fun series. And for fans in Vegas, subscribers, we're here. We're here. It's Vancouver against Vegas. Be very, very interesting to see the battle of the two teams, the V teams. You know what's interesting is in the first round, a lot of the teams that won the play-in, I should say play-in, not first round, were the teams that alphabetically were before the teams that they were playing against. And it looks like in this series, a lot of times it was the team that alphabetically, their city's name came after. It's kind of reversed. It's weird. So I'm just saying, you know, Vancouver beats St. Louis, Vegas beats Chicago after Chicago had beaten Edmonton. Vancouver, of course, was the exception in the play-in round, I think. And it's something I looked at the time and I said, that's fun. I'll do a video on that later. So look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I hope this posts a little quicker than the last review of a Canucks game I did. But thanks for all your support, Canuck fans. Tonight is very much a night to celebrate because no matter what happens from here, Vancouver's out of the first round. And with each passing game, for every win like this, it does definitely garner the attention of the league, of other players, and it starts to change the reputation of the team. It's a fun time. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I will talk to you again soon.